Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be making this dress. So if you haven't seen the video where I shared with you guys how to go about the drafting, please do well to check on my channel. It's already up on the channel. So this is what we are going to be stitching together. Just in case you've not seen this, please go ahead and subscribe and hit on the subscribe button. So this is the one I made after I was done. Let me just allow you guys to enjoy the video.
So many times that I miss you. I know how to call when I want to.
So guys, remember the patterns we drafted earlier? I've gone ahead to use all those patterns to cut in my fabric. So this is the yoke here. I went ahead to cut this out with my crepe fabric and I gave 1/2 inch round. And this is the center front we drafted earlier. I'll just remove all these pins and show you guys how it looks. Let me just go ahead and open this up. So this is it. So this is the fabric here, as you can see. I also went ahead to iron hair stay on it, and then I have also my lining pieces here. I also ironed hair stay on it, and I also have this wording here, you guys, just in case you know this as padded. I also have padded here that I've gone ahead to cut out, and I made sure to leave about 1/2 inch from the top a part here, just like you see, so that when we are stitching this, it's not going to be too difficult for us. So I also have the side front here. So what you can see here is a side front that we drafted. I gave 1/2 inch to this part, and on this other part here I gave 1.5 inch stitching allowance. So remember, we didn't give stitching allowance earlier while we were drafting on the pattern paper, so I went ahead to add 1.5 inch stitching allowance. So this is the lining piece. I also iron hair stay on it. This is the second one. I iron hair stay on it, and this is the fabric here. I also went ahead to iron hair stay on it. So remember, when cutting this, you have two pieces just like this, and this is the wording as well. We'll be using wording for this, just in case you know this as padded. It is the same thing we are using here. So this is how to place this. I'm just going to show you guys. I left about 1/2 inch on the top, and remember, this is the 1.5 inch stitching allowance. So for the bust waistline, this is it. I've gone ahead to cut this out with my crepe fabric. So I use crepe for this, and I also use crepe for the yoke area. So remember, I gave 1/2 inch on this other side here. So I cut this out on fold. So let me just open it and show you guys. Remember these pieces we cut out earlier? So I went ahead to cut this with my crepe fabric on fold. So you can see, it's just that the place is dark, but I hope you can see this. So you see, I also went ahead to cut out lining pieces for it, but I've not ironed hair stay on it, guys, just because I wanted to show you guys how it looks. When I'm done with this video, I'll just go ahead and iron hair stay on it. So what I have here is also the sleeve part. So I'm using a basic long sleeve and this other sleeve here. Just in case you saw this in the beginning of the video, this is it. So I'm going to be posting a video on how to go about that sleeve. Just in case you don't know how to do it, let me know in the comment section. So remember the lace fabric I showed you guys that I'll be using for my sleeve areas. I've gone ahead to cut it out. Now, if you don't know how to draft a basic long sleeve, I already have a video on my channel. All I can do, still go ahead and post this other one so that you guys can also see, because I feel like the one I did earlier is a little bit detailed than the previous one I did. So here is the back pattern. I'm just going to go ahead and label this the back so that you see. Please, when cutting the back, make sure you are cutting out this two piece. You are not cutting it on fold. I'm just going to go ahead and remove it so that you see. So this is the back pieces here. Let me remove all the pins and show you guys how it looks. So this is it. Remember, when cutting, you are cutting two of it. So this is the lining pieces here. I've not iron hair stay on it. I'm going to do that later. So this is the fabric itself. I went ahead to iron hair stay on it. So this is how it looks, and I also gave 1.5 inch for the zipper allowance. Okay, 1.5 inch for zipper allowance, and I also gave 1/2 inch round all these other parts here, as you can see. Remember, it's 1.5 inch here for the zipper allowance, and I also did same for the lining pieces. So right now I'm going to show you guys the the fabric we are going to be going ahead to iron hair stay on it. So let me open this other part here for you. So I'm going to also iron hair stay on these areas here, but it's not necessary. You can decide not to do so, but I went ahead to iron hair stay on it. I feel like this part was really dark that you guys cannot see, but I just hope you understand what we are doing here. So this is a head stay here. If you've used head stay before, you should know that there is always a part that is very rough. That is the part you should gum to the wrong side of your fabric. Do you understand? If not, let me know in the comment section. So right now I'm going to go ahead and iron hair stay on all those pieces. This is what I had after I was done. This is how it looks. I'll just go ahead and open this up. So this is the yoke area here. This is how it looks. This is what I had after I was done ironing it. So this is it. I have about 4 pieces here. This is for the lining and also the actual fabric. So this is how it looks. And then for the back pieces, I also went ahead to iron hair stay on all the lining. So this is how it looks, and these other areas here I iron hair stay on the lining. So guys, let's go ahead and work on this other part. So this is our center front and our side front. I have gone ahead to iron my wording on it, but I feel like this is not necessary. Just go ahead and use it without ironing. You can do that later, but if you've done that, or if you're going to use this method I used, go ahead and use it. So this is it. Please, when placing this, just make sure you are placing this correctly. As you can see on the video, I was even confused, but please, when placing this, go ahead and place this correctly. Please notice the way I am going to place this. Shall you see how to place this? This is how it should be. The armhole should be on at the top of it, and then you are going to now place it right side facing each other. You start pinning this from the down part. So pin this down. I'm going to go ahead and pin all this part here, and after then I'll show you guys how it looks. So go ahead and pin this down. Even if it's difficult, go ahead and make sure that it aligns this way. Go ahead and align it this way and pin it down just like this. So after pinning this down, when I open this up, this is how it looks. You can see how curved this area is. You can see this is how it should look. Make sure you just relax this way. So I'm now going to also bring these other pieces here, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat same thing. And when I'm done, I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine and stitch down that part with 1/2 inch.
What's left? The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go.
So guys, I'm done stitching this down, and this is how it looks. You see how beautiful this is looking already. This is where I stitched down, and I also went ahead to do same on this other part, as you can see. So right now I'm going to go ahead and notch it. When notching this, make sure you don't notch through the stitches you made earlier. Don't cut this through the stitches you made. Just make it a little bit close to the stitches. So when you do this, it will help it relax very well. So the purpose for this is just to make your seams relaxed very well. So I'm going to iron this out, and after then I'm going to go over to my sewing machine, I'll take this to my ironing table and iron the seams opened. Please pay attention. You are to cut this through like this. Don't cut till you get to where you stitch it, please. Please don't cut the stitches you. After this, I'll just take it to my iron and then iron this out. Just go ahead and iron the seams opened. This is what I had after I was done ironing this out. As you can see, I've gone ahead to iron all the seams opened, and this is how beautiful it's looking. So right now let's go ahead and work on this down part here. So to do that, I'm just going to bring this my black fabric here, and then I'm going to also go ahead and come out or come in by 3 inches. But before then, let's go ahead and get the midpoint, which is the center of this dress. So I'll just fold my tape this way and then notch these areas here just like this. So when you are done, go ahead and use your straight ruler and then mark a straight line along that part that you notched earlier. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to use this my ruler here and then mark a straight line here. So this way I'm trying to create like boning channels for my corset. Remember, this is the under bust corset, so I'm trying to create boning channels for my corset. So when I'm done, I'm going to now place my tape here. I'll come in by 3 inches and I'll also come in by 3 inches on this other part here. And when I'm done, I'm going to connect this into a straight line. So this design totally depends on how you want yours to be. You can decide to give yours any design of your choice, or you can decide to follow mine. But this is what I'm doing right here. It's very simple. So right now, everything I did here, I'm going to now repeat same thing for this other side here. I'll come in by 3 inches on both sides like this, connect it into a straight line. So go ahead and do whatever you wish to do on this other part here. So just have it in mind that what we are doing here is just creating boning channels for our bones to pass through. So when you are done, go ahead and use your pieces to, or whatever you can decide to use your, you can even decide to use your bias just in case you don't want to use this fabric here. Go ahead and use your bias, but I'll be using this fabric here to, go ahead and stitch this down. So now I'll go over to my sewing machine and show you guys how to go about stitching this down, because I don't know how to explain this better here, but I think I will do that on my sewing machine. But before we go back to that part, let's go ahead and cut out all the pieces for our boning channels. So the width of this piece here is about 1 inch wide. So the length of it, I think I just cut out the length. I know it will be enough for all the boning channels I created here. Just hope you understand. So when I'm done cutting this, I'm going to take you guys to my sewing machine and then show you how to go about stitching this. And one thing you must know is when doing this, make sure you create a channel where your bones can actually pass through. Don't make it too tight and don't make it too loose. Okay, so let's go over and stitch this down together. Welcome back, guys. First of all, let me apologize. I don't have a table yet. Okay, please just bear with me. For now, I don't have a table. I'm using my center, my dining. I'm even using my dining to like place my machine on top of it. So right now, go ahead and place the rough part of this pieces here, just like I showed you earlier. The rough part is what you're going to place here, just like this. Make sure you're placing it where you make that mark. Just go ahead and place it like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch through that line. Make sure your stitches are straight and neat. I'll just go ahead and stitch through that line. Now the length of the length of this, or let me just show you guys, because I don't know how to explain this better, but let me just show you when I'm done with this. So guys, I'm done stitching this down. As you can see, this is how it looks. So right now I'm going to now fold this over like this. So when you use this method, it will now help secure, like hide the other part that was rubbed. So this is what I'm doing. I'll just fold it in like this and then start stitching on it. What you're doing here, make sure that you take the measurement around your boning. If you have the boning that is very small, please notice, make sure your boning case or the place you're going to be passing your bones through are not that big or not that wide. Let it just be something to, contain the kind of bone you are using. I don't know how to explain this. Maybe I'll do a video on that particular boning issues that I'm trying to say right now for you guys to see. So just make sure that the stitches you are making, or the hole you are trying, let me use this one now, the hole you are stitching right now, you can actually pass your bones through that hole. Like, you can pass your bones through that hole. Then if it's okay by you, go ahead and stitch it. I just hope you understand what I'm saying, because even me myself, I'm even trying to see how I can even explain this better. Please try to understand. So guys, I'm done, and this is how it looks. I will just go ahead and do same for all these other lines here. So this is it after I was done making this. You see how beautiful it came out. I made sure that the place I stitch, I can actually pass my bones through. So this is my bones here, and this bone I'm using is about ½ inch wide. So there are other bones you can see maybe 3/4 of an inch. So this was the one I could find in the market. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix it through this part like this. So this was why I said, when stitching this down, make sure you are having a space where your bones can actually pass through. So you can see, if you don't stitch this very well, you're going to find it very difficult to pass your bones through. And another thing I want you guys to know is, when making this, make sure you give about ½ inch on this part here, and also ½ inch on the top, so that when you are joining these pieces to the other pieces, it's not going to break your needle. So give about ½ inch down and ½ inch on the upper part, so when you are stitching this down, it's not going to break your needle. So you can see I've gone ahead to cut out this other part here, making sure that it's about ½ inch shorter at the end and also at the top of it. I just hope you understand. So I'm going to go ahead and do same for all the other boning cases I made earlier that we stitched down. After making this, I'll repeat same thing for these other pieces or this other part as well. So this is what we had after I was done fixing this. When making this, you realize that your bones or your whatever you use this for, it's actually standing or folding. That is necessary because of the bones are not straight. So what you are going to do is, when you are done, go ahead and iron it straight. So this is how mine came out after I was done fixing the bonings through all those boning cases. So right now, this is the upper part we made earlier. I'm going to now turn this over right side facing each other like this, and then I'll take this to my sewing machine and stitch this down with ½ inch. So this was why I said leave about ½ inch so that you can be able to stitch this down. So first, I'm going to now take the midpoint. So already we have a midpoint with this, so I'll fold this into two this way, and then I'm going to go ahead and notch it just to get the midpoints, the center of this very dress here. So right now I'll just go ahead and place these ones here right side facing each other. I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down, and after then I'll take this over to my sewing machine and stitch it down with about 1/2 inch, and after then I'll show you guys what I had. So guys, this is what I had after I was done stitching this together. You can see how beautiful this is looking already. Just make sure that your cups are very okay. So this is it. This is how mine came out. This is how beautiful this is looking already. See how beautiful it looks. So make sure yours is looking this way. So right now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my lining pieces now. So the same thing I did for every other pieces here, I went ahead to do same for my lining pieces as well. So just like we did for this front part, I also went ahead to repeat same for my lining pieces. So this is my lining pieces here. Please don't do this. This was something I forgot to do, but I later went ahead to loosen it up and then stitch it back. What you're supposed to do was to add like your yoke pad before stitching this down. So I'm going to show you guys that video right now. So guys, this is it. When I realized this, it was already too annoying. Like, why will I forget to do this? Like, you finish stitching this, you realize that you've done, or what you did was wrong, you start to loosen this up again. So this is what we are going to do now. You are going to now bring these two into like this before you go ahead and join it to the fabric. Go ahead and then place this lining pieces here like this, right side facing each other, just like this, right side facing each other, and this other part right side facing each other. So when you are done, you are going to go over to your sewing machine and stitch this down with about 1/2 inch. Okay, this is it after I was done stitching this out. As you can see, at this point I was even tired, because if you noticed, this was like the second day of me making this dress. When making this dress, it requires a lot of time and patience. So this was like the second or the third day of me making this dress. So this is it after I was done. At this point, I even forgot that I was never supposed to place this armhole like this. Please, when you want to place this armhole, make sure that the open part is facing the armhole area, while the part that you stitched earlier is facing the neckline. The open part of this armhole, or this what is it called again, the yoke area, let me use the yoke, the open part of it is facing the neckline. Okay, it's facing the armhole, sorry. So go ahead and then cover it up like this, and after then go ahead and then stitch it down. This thing I'm telling you guys, I didn't even realize it because I was already tired about this dress. I also went ahead to loosen it up again to now correct that. So please make sure that when you join those fabric, the lining with the actual fabric of the yoke, go ahead and place the side that is open facing your armhole, because this other side that is stitched has to face the neck area and it has to be neat. So face the side that is open towards the armhole. Please try and understand. So right now, just go ahead, when you are done pinning this down, go ahead to your sewing machine and stitch it down with 1/2 inch round, just like this. Okay, so guys, this is what I had after I was done stitching this. So when I open it up, I'm going to show you guys what I was trying to say. So when you open it up this way, you notice that the armhole area or the yoke area is opened, like it's not supposed to be this way. So when I realized this, I'm going to show you guys the next video I did about this. So when you are done stitching this armhole area, you need to just fold it in like this and then top stitch along the lining. Top stitch this towards the lining, and after top stitching it, make sure you cover the fabric back and then sew the sides, cover the sides before you now turn it over through this pointed area here. So I forgot to do this because I was already sick and tired of this dress. Like, I didn't know it was really going to take a lot of time, and it really gave me headache. Honestly, making this is not really easy. When you want to make this, make sure you have a lot of time. So right now, let me just show you guys the next step to take, and in my next video, or when I'm trying to do something like this, I will make sure to address this very well. So I already went ahead to do this. Let's go ahead and just do the next part. So yeah, let's just go into the next part. So if you watch closely, you see that at this point I wasn't even okay. Like, this is the skirt area. I have this video already on the channel where I share with you guys how to go about the drafting and cutting of a pencil skirt, and I told you guys I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this specially. So just in case you didn't understand that method, is because we are turning this into a dress. I know I mentioned something like this earlier. So this is it. I'm now going to be converting this into a dress. So before we do that, I'm just going to bring these other front pieces here together. Please pay attention to this part because it's very technical. And then if you noticed the blouse area, I've not even added the yoke area there. So you see why I was so tired about this dress. But please, before you go ahead to do this, make sure you've ironed or you fixed your yoke areas before doing this. If not, you will have to loosen everything up, because that was what I did. So right here, I'm just taking the midpoint, and from this point, remember while we were drafting this, we gave the bust waistline earlier 5 inches. We went down by 5 inches, so I'm going to be coming down from here by 5 inches as well, and then I'll just use my ruler and connect this to meet that 5 inches points we made just here. So just pay attention to this part. So after connecting this, the next thing to do is I'm now going to bring my upper part, like the upper part of this dress, and show you guys what to do. So just like I said, please go ahead and make sure you've done everything correctly before coming to join this part. At this point, if you watch this blouse very well, you notice I have not even added the yoke areas to the blouse. So the other video I showed you guys earlier was what to do before coming to do this other part. So I have not even noticed this. I've done like sewing the dress before I realized this. I had to come back again and loosen this up and then start fixing those things together. So right here, I just place this points area here, the part that is pointed on the skirt, on that part we marked earlier, that 5-inch part we came in by. So I marked it there just to get the shape of this blouse on the skirt part. So this is what to do. So pay attention to this part because it is very technical. So when you are done with this, you just need to cut through those lines you made. Please make sure that the lines are very pointed, like very pointed. Make sure you don't make yours curved, because anyhow you make this, that's how you're going to go ahead and sew it, and you might not like the finished look. So I've gone ahead to zoom this area before cutting this out so that you guys can see it clearly. Looking at my chalk already, you know that the way I drafted it was already curved. So you just see the way I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. And please note, I'm not cutting directly on the lines I made. I'm cutting about ½ inch above the line. That is because we are going to be joining. That ½ inch will serve as the stitching allowance. So instead of coming this way to cut this part, please don't do that. Instead, you're going to need to come and start from the upper part here again to cut it through to that point. Please pay attention to this part because this is where like the beauty of this dress lies on. So when you are doing this, just make sure that it is very correct. So you see how I cut this out. So this way it's not looking curved, it is very pointed. So you see, so when you are done with this, you realize that it's very, very okay. So the next part is the stitching. When you want to stitch this, guys, you just need to be very careful. Like if you stitch this the first time, like you join the blouse to the skirt the first time and it didn't come out well, please go ahead and loosen it up and repeat it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to get the midpoint of my blouse. Already we have a midpoint on this part, but I'm going to notch it. You need to notch that part. It is very, very necessary, because if you don't notch it, it's not going to relax, and that point part is not going to come out very well. So you need to notch it. So when you notch it, you also need to notch the skirt part. Very important. You need to notch the skirt areas before you go ahead to join this. So notch it, that half-inch points you gave earlier. So remember, we didn't cut directly on the line, so notch it till you get to that line area. So after notching it, this is how it should be. I'm not okay with the notch. I'll just go ahead and notch it again, just to make sure that it is well open, but not too much, please. So after notching this, pick one side of that part you notch. Just pick one side and place it one side of this other part on the skirt area. So just place it one part here, and then when you are okay with it, go ahead and pin it down. Please, when you are doing this, make sure you are doing this on one part. Don't join the two parts together. So now you're just going to turn this like this, and when you do this, you notice that this other side is not even following that part because you notch it. Go ahead and stitch down half-inch on this part. Like I said, after stitching, if you're not okay, loosen it up and repeat it again. So I'm going to show you guys. I'm done stitching one side. You need to stitch one side first to be okay with it before going ahead to stitch this other part. So when you are okay stitching one side, turn it down to this other part and stitch down this part, just like we did for the other side. So this is what I had after I was done stitching this. If you look closely, you see how it came out very nice, and make sure that everything is in between the center of your skirt. So it came out very nice, but my annoyance was I had to just loosen up this thing again because I didn't actually get what I want on the neck areas, not even the skirt. It was perfect, and me going over to loosen this, I was so bitter because I had done a very perfect and neat work. Now I have to just loosen it up again. So I just have to show you guys how it looks. So when we stitch this down, this is how it's going to be. So you see, please just bear with me. I'm going to try and get a table for you guys. So guys, these are the back pattern here. If you look closely, you see that I've even notched my darts. So this is where I notch it. So now I'm going to take the length of my darts, like the length of it. So from here to here, I had 6 inches here. So the dart I'll be stitching down will be 6 inches in length. So this is where I notch it, and I have 4 pieces here, 2 for the fabric and 2 for the lining. So I'm going to pick one like this on my sewing machine, place it this way and stitch it down here. Then I'm going to go ahead and do same for all the 4 pieces here that you can see. So this is how it looks. Let me just go ahead and stitch this down. This is it after I was done. So I have gone ahead to stitch it down. I also went ahead to iron it so that it's looking nice, and this is what I had. So guys, remember this, the lining pieces here, I also went ahead to do same. Now I'm going to pick one of the fabric and place the lining to it like this, right side facing each other. So right now we are going to go over and stitch down this part. So what we're going to do is you're going to go over to your sewing machine. You're going to stitch down the neck areas. You're not going to stitch the armhole. You stitch the neck area here. Don't stitch the shoulders and the armhole. So when you stitch the neck area, go ahead and stitch the side, stitch this down part and the other side. So you're going to repeat same thing for this other part here. Stitch everything down. Don't stitch the armhole and the shoulders, okay? So this is what I had after I was done. So I didn't stitch this other neck areas because I wanted you guys to see how it looks, but make sure you stitch the neck area and don't stitch the armhole and the shoulders. So you can see the second pieces here that I went ahead to stitch the neck areas. So now I'll just turn it over to the right side and give it a good press. And after then, I'm going to now bring the back pieces we had earlier, place it like this, right side facing each other. Make sure you are placing it correctly. Go ahead and stitch it down here, and you're going to do same for this other part. So this is it right here. I'm going to show you guys after I was done stitching it down. I also went ahead to do same for this other side here. I went ahead to stitch this down here. So right now you're going to now place this to this other dress. Make sure you're placing them right side facing each other. So you're going to place them like this. Just watch what I'm doing here. You're going to place them like this, and then you're going to go ahead and pick the shoulders areas here. You're going to pick this shoulder here like this, and then pick this other one here. So if you notice, I've gone ahead to sew the shoulders correctly that I told you guys to do earlier. So I went ahead to do it correctly, and this is how it's supposed to be. So when you're going to place them like this, make sure that the center it's both aligned. Make sure you align the both shoulders together. Go ahead and pin it down. You're going to pin it down till you get to the end of this part here, and then when you are done, you're going to do same for the other sleeve as well, for the other shoulders area. I just hope you understand. Please let me know in the comment section if you understand what I'm doing here. So when you use this method, after stitching this down, you realize that your shoulders will come out very neat and beautiful. So I just hope you understand. So let me open it up this way. These are the areas you need to stitch down on your sewing machine, and then do same for this other part here. So this is what I had after I was done stitching this down. I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up like this and show you guys. So remember, I told you that when you are joining your yoke, make sure that the rough part is facing the armhole. So if you look closely, you'll see that I went ahead to make sure that everywhere it's clean and nice, just like this. So this is the dress here. After joining the shoulders, this is how it looks. So guys, the next thing to do is to go ahead and fix our sleeves. So for the sleeves area here, I'm going to go ahead and remove all the pins here so that we can go ahead and stitch this down. So this is what I had. These are the two sleeves here. Make sure you cut them on fold. So on this other area here, remember we are going to be using this lace for the sleeve parts. So I'll just go ahead and fix it, and that'll be all for this dress. So this is what I had after I was done making this dress. It's actually beautiful, right? So let me allow you watch the video. So thank you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit on the subscribe button. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I will see you guys in my next video. So bye.